Hello, viewers. Welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Jesse Kenyua. We'll be discussing a pertinent topic entitled Corporate Restructuring. You will, at one point, want to restructure your organization for one reason or another. And one of the reasons is that the organization may not be doing very well, your business may not be doing very well, or there could be changes in the external environment that may necessitate that you reconsider restructuring your business, restructuring your portfolio, and therefore corporate restructuring is critical in giving your business or your organization a new lease of life. So what is corporate restructuring? Corporate restructuring can be defined as any fundamental change in company's business or financial structure designed to increase the company's value to shareholders. Mostly, corporate restructuring will be undertaken after there is some change in strategy. So you will at times scan the environment and realize that there are some changes in the external environment, or even internally you may find that there are some dynamic in the internal environment, and you may want to restructure your organization because of those changes. So normally structure follows strategy. Once you review your strategy, you may want to review your organization structure. So it is normally undertaken by senior management to restore an ailing corporate business portfolio to good health. So the poor health of the organization may be caused by many things. Maybe it could be change in the external environment whereby there is stiff competition, or the economy may not be doing very well and people's disposable income may be declining, and therefore they are not able to buy maybe your goods or to patronize your service the way they have been doing before, and therefore you may want to consider restructuring your business. Or some line of your business may not be doing well. Probably some products have reached maturity, or they are already declining in sales. You may want to consider maybe selling off some of your product line. So restructuring can encompass a broad range of transactions, and normally involves a sequence of let's say acquisitions and divestments to develop a new configuration of the lines of business of the organization. So what are some of the driving forces that may force you or cause you to want to restructure your business? One is regulatory and political change. So many of or most active sectors have been stimulated by deregulation or other political turmoil. If you look world over, you find that some of the industries that could be doing well, at one point they may have gone through strict regulation or political turmoil for them to rediscover themselves. So it could be as a result of that. It can also be as a result of change in external environment. You know, the pestle. If the pestle change, you may also want to review your business in line of the change, so that you may want to change your strategy. So change in strategy can be a driving force that may cause the senior management to want to restructure their business. Financial change. Yes, at time there could be a booming stock market that can encourage stock deals. At one point, The stock market could be doing very well. Maybe once if you are doing very well, you find that your shares will be selling very well in the stock exchange market, and the opposite is also true. So financial changes can drive you to consider restructuring your business. We can also have new leadership. Whenever you have a new leader, they will come with their new way of doing things. So we have failure style of leadership, and this also goes with some managers' traits. So a human element is also involved in restructuring, so that if you have new leadership, they may come up with a new strategy, they may come up with a new way of doing things, and that will can force you to or can cause you to want to restructure your organization. The size of your business can also be a cause. The simplicity vortex that just as some companies keep getting bigger, others will shed their skin and become smaller. At times, farms will become smaller. At times, farm will also become larger as they grow. So any of the two may happen, and you may want to restructure for that matter. Types of corporate restructuring. We have two key types of corporate restructuring. The first one is financial restructuring. And financial restructuring relates to improvements in the capital structure of the firm. So it may mean refinancing at every level of capital, and this may include, for instance, securing asset-based loans. You can secure asset-based loans. For instance, it could be account receivable for inventory or to acquire equipment. And as you do that, you'll be restructuring your business. Also, securing mezzanine and subordinated debt financing. That can also be part of financial restructuring. Securing institutional private placement of equity, and also achieving some strategic partnering. At some point, you may want to collaborate or to partner with other institutions, and that may also make you want to think about financial restructuring. Mergers and acquisition can lead you to restructuring. If you want to grow in another foreign market, for instance, you may grow very fast through acquisition. You can acquire another firm in that foreign market, or you can make a consideration to merge with another firm so that you can increase your capital. And that can as well bring about financial restructuring. The second type of restructuring is operational restructuring. And this is the process of increasing the economic viability of the underlying business model. Examples of this may include, for instance, a merger. At times you may want to sell some division that are not doing well, or you may want to consider abandoning some product lines that are becoming a burden to the organization, probably because the line are not generating enough sales, and therefore you may want to abandon them altogether. Cost-cutting measures. There are many ways that your organization can introduce cost-cutting measures, even printing of papers. These days, printing can also be expensive in an organization. And if you decide that you are going to minimize printing, you can lower costs of your business. Or you can consider closing down unprofitable facilities. Probably you have many facilities, and some may be considered for closing down if they are not generating income for the organization. If they are only consuming income from other strategic business units, you may want to consider closing them down, and that way you'll be restructuring your business. In most turnarounds and bankruptcy situations, both financial and operational restructuring ought to occur simultaneously to save the business. So whenever an organization is in the red, it may want to consider turning around the performance of the organization, and also consider a strategy like bankruptcy. You may want to see, can you combine the two to be able to lift your business from the loss region. What are some of the objectives that an organization may consider with the intention of restructuring? Restructuring. One is to increase a standard of professionalism. You have to ensure in whichever industry you are that you are enhancing professionalism, so that employees are engaged for the work they have been trained, and by so doing you'll be enhancing the performance of your business. Also, to enhance the shareholders' value. Restructuring is meant to improve the owner's value, that is the shareholders' value, and they may recommend it so that the organization can improve its performance, and their share capital can also be improved. Alternatively, you may want to improve workers' participation in management. Participatory management is key, and if that was not happening previously, you may want to enhance it. Also consider increasing accountability and integrity in the organization, because accountability is key, and it will also help in improving performance of your organization. Another objective would be to promote established mechanism for conflict resolution in case there are some conflict in the organization for one reason or another, or being caused by various reasons. You may want to ensure that there is always an element of conflict resolution to be able to ensure that everything is running smoothly. Foster investment opportunity which allow organization to grow and prosper. Always consider fostering investment opportunities. Corporate restructuring procedure. According to La Piana 2001, we have the strategic solution restructuring, and he has given 5 steps that one can undergo when we are restructuring. And one is, the first step is internal self-assessment, meaning that you have to assess the organization internally. You have to see you have to look at keenly the internal capability of the organization, the various processes, and identify areas that may require restructuring. The second stage is interorganizational assessment. In case, for instance, you want to merge with another firm, you want to acquire another firm, you may want to assess the other firm with the consideration of those strategies. The third stage is discussion of forms of partnership. So in this case, if you are considering forming partnership, you need to have some discussion so that you can have those partnership. And step 4, negotiation and communication. You have to negotiate with other partners, with other firms, so that you eventually come to an amicable solution, an amicable agreement. And now, after that, you'll be able to implement the changes that have been recommended. Alternatively, we can use value-based approach to corporate restructuring. This has been proposed by McKinsey. It's referred to as the Pentagon framework. And the first thing to do when you are following the Pentagon framework is to look at the current market value of your company or your firm. And then you determine the potential value of the company with the internal improvement that you are considering. In case you undertake the changes that you're considering, maybe in the value chain, so that if you look at the entire value chain and you have identified some weaknesses and some strength, you may want to embark on improvement of the value chain, and that way you will undertake internal improvement. Thirdly, you look at the potential value of the company with external improvement. You have to look at any external improvement. For instance, in case of merger and acquisition, you need to see what kind of improvement will you gain, or if you get some new investors, what value will they bring in the organization, and that will also amount to restructuring. And finally, you look at the optimum restructured value of the organization. However, there are some challenges that you may need to be conscious about, and this include, for instance, the senior corporate managers who could be in pursuit of personal interests, and they may want to apply unethical practices to ensure that their job security is guaranteed through unprofitable expansions or acquisition. So you may want to guard against that. Another challenge could be, for instance, managers engaging in empire building through pursuit of long but ego-satisfying strategies. Some strategies that top management may come up with may not be for the interest of the shareholders. That's what you're saying. It may be for their own interests because they want to benefit out of it, and you may want to guard against that. It has also been recognized that the cost of performing corporate reorganization and restructuring is likely to be proportionately larger for smaller organizations. Consider degree of disclosure. It's always important that you disclose everything. Whenever you are restructuring, disclosure is important. Disclose to the shareholders, disclose everything to the would-be firm that you are acquiring or you want to merge with, and that way you put everything over the table, and there will be no disagreement thereafter. Lack of separation of ownership and control to even out level of responsibility could also be another challenge. It is important that the management may want to consider separation of ownership and control so that it is very clear that there is a line of separation there. At times you may have ineffective board structure. The board may not be well structured, and you may want to look at that because the board is the one that spearheads the strategic organization of the organization, and if it is not well structured, you may find that they may not give a lot of value to the management. Also, consider incompetent board members and manager. At times, if you have incompetent board members, they may not give you a lot of value. And whenever you are looking for board members, you may want to have diversity. Diversity is always critical. Always look for people who have specialization in various areas and from various backgrounds, because you want them to bring experience in your organization, and knowledge from various fields. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, in the final analysis, corporate restructuring involves aligning the assets and liabilities of the corporations in line with their cash flow needs to be able to promote efficiency, to support growth, and to maximize the value of shareholders and other stakeholders through combination of strategies. And financial restructuring, when accompanied with investment, is key strategic activities. In key strategic activities, can it be effective for the firm? So thank you very much for listening. You can hit the like button down there and also subscribe for new sessions. Thank you and God bless.